Yeah, starting this one. All right, so again, I'm Prabhat Nigam. I'm Microsoft MVP. I'm a MCSE Messaging 2013, MCITP 2010, 2007. I was Microsoft employee earlier, worked in Microsoft Exchange PSS group. My blog is msexchangeguru.com. We are the third coolest community as per Microsoft. And I'm a speaker here, and my meetup, I do some speakings with Net Learning and also for Microsoft. All right. So the agenda of the day: database availability group overview, benefits of database availability group, getting started with database availability group configuration steps, database availability group configuration lab, auto reseed configuration steps, auto reseed configuration lab, auto reseed workflow, automated database availability group, DAG high availability versus disaster recovery, summary, and QA. Okay, before moving ahead, I just wanted to know if we have somebody still on Exchange 2003. Please raise your hand.
I'm retiring tomorrow.
Oh, that's glad. That's glad. Yeah.
It's all been moved over, but it's being completely decommissioned 100% tomorrow.
That's great. I'm glad to see it's just 1% and he's retiring. And we all are aware that Microsoft is ending a support on April 8 to 2014. So the best option has been to move on Exchange 2010 and then move to 2013 if you want to go and utilize the features of Exchange 2013. Otherwise, the other options are to use the third-party softwares to migrate from Exchange 2003 to directly to Exchange 2013. If you still have some questions about 2003, you can come back to me later. All right, so database availability group overview. Let's talk about outage. So in the future, I believe there will be no outage. We are going towards the world where we will be avoiding the outages. There will be no outages. People don't want the outages. We try not to get the outages. But where we get the outages, with the hardwares most of the time. We try to keep up everything, but what you cannot fix and up is the hardware. Hardware can crash, data center can go down, Sandy can come to New York, and everything can be flooded. So what is the next option? Next option is to think about the hardware redundancy, multi-site redundancy, and Exchange 2013 is trying to give you the same thing so that we can avoid any kind of a disaster and forget the outage. And I hope in the future, next generation will see, and maybe they wouldn't know what is the word called outage. Okay, so what is DAG? DAG is the Exchange, new Exchange clustering, I would say, which started with Exchange 2010 and 2013. Well, we started the clustering with Exchange 5.5, 2000, 2003. With 2007, we come up with CCR and SCR. With CCR, we had 2 copies in one data center, and the SCR provided another copy in different data center. So if one data center goes down, with 2007, you could have activated SCR, standby replication copy, and you could have still worked between 2 data centers. But the DAG, when the DAG came in Exchange 2010, it changed the whole behavior of cluster. Now you can have multiple copies, just not 2 or 3. There's a limit to 16, but not just 3. So even you can have 4 copies in the production, 4 copies in the disaster recovery data center. Well, most of the best setup have been configuring 4 copies in production data center and 2 copies in the disaster recovery data center. Right. Like I said, the limit is 16 copies. If you just started Exchange 2013 and have not deployed CU2, then you will see that you cannot go beyond 50 databases. So Microsoft took the feedback from the customers and the MVPs, MCMs, and they did the change and they made it to 100 databases. And in an environment, I can give an example. In one of my customer, we had 48 databases of 2 terabytes, which made somewhere around 288 databases, copies, 288 copies, and 500 plus terabytes of space. But the question is 48 databases plus 1 recovery database and 49 already, and some of them were close to 2 terabytes. So we had to extend that, and they were on 2010. Without CU2, we couldn't thought about 2013 migration for this kind of a customer. So definitely it changed the perspective of Exchange 2013. Now automatic DR site activation. Automatic DR site activation with data center site resiliency. So in Exchange 2013, we have fixed one issue which was there in Exchange 2010, which used to eliminate us from doing the automatic activation between data centers. We will see in for the slide. Auto reseeding with spare disk. Auto reseeding is another feature of DAG, which helps eliminating hardware failure and causing the different issues. So we'll talk about it more later, but I can just give an example that auto reseeding is a feature which swaps the disk automatically. Yes, it swaps the disk automatically. It's kind of magic. We'll see. We might be able to see the magic happening here. So auto reseeding does the magic where it swaps the disk and automatically reseeds the database to different disks. What we have to do is we have to just provide another spare disk available and mapped. All right, so high availability. So Exchange 2013 is built to be the high available. If you want the high availability, Exchange 2013 is the best product available, which provides the high availability of the databases plus client services, client access roles, anything you can think about. We can go to different data centers and make it high available. Now we'll talk about PAM, SAM, and DAC mode. So it's PAM. PAM is not Pamela, and SAM is not Samuel here. So PAM is primary activation manager, and SAM is a standby activation manager. So what PAM does is it decides which copy will be active and which will be passive. PAM is responsible for topology changes, notifications, and reacting to the server failures. PAM owns the cluster quorum. So if the cluster quorum will be owned by the PAM server. PAM controls all the movement of active designation between the data center copies. If PAM server fails, the PAM moves to a surviving Exchange server. And of course, the cluster quorum owner also moves with the PAM. The PAM performs the function of the SAM role on the self server. On the server, the PAM as it exists, it does the information store or database copy failure role take care. So that's the more of the kind of a PAM job, which is good enough to manage this DAG. Now SAM detects the failures of local database and local information store. SAM asks PAM to initiate the failover because it detects the failure and then asks the SAM, okay, this database has failed on this server. Could you just initiate the failover to different server? Yeah, because the PAM can exist on one server which not have all the active database mounted. So active database can be mounted on different servers. So if another active database went down, the SAM will ask PAM to move to activate another database copy. So SAM does the failover. SAM doesn't determine the target of the failover, nor does it update the database location state in the PAM. SAM accesses the database copy location state to answer queries for active copy of the database that it requires. SAM provides information on which server hosts the active copy. All right, so now we'll talk about the DAG mode. DAG mode is another exciting feature which takes care of the split brain syndrome. So if any network link goes off between two data centers, the DAG mode will take care in that kind of a condition where it will not allow the two servers to mount the databases. So in a case where a network has gone down, it sounds very usual that, okay, both the servers will think I'm the only server left and I should bring the databases up and make it active so that user can connect and use it. But DAG mode will take care of this feature, take care of this issue, which will allow it to mount only one database. All right. Any questions from this slide? All right.
As functionality of that changed in 2010, 2013, have there been any changes in functionality way back?
It looks similar. I mean, the component looks similar. It used to work fine, and there's I don't see any big difference. Yeah, sure.
Well, you said there's a 60 copy. Will be resident on the same server or different server?
No, different server. Yeah, 16 copy means you can have the 16 database copies of one database to different servers. You can have 16 servers and keep one copy. You can have 32 servers and distribute just 16 servers only.
But we have to manage the synchronize. If you have 16 copies, it could be 16 different versions, right?
No, it will be the same.
Or they are staying the same time. They will synchronize automatically.
No, it will be the same database which will be replicating to 16 different copies. So you don't have to take care, you just have to configure it first time, and then automatically it will replicate the changes. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Benefits of database availability group. Reduce manual effort. With these features, I think it's an excellent thing. I mean, everything is automated, no manual effort requires once you configure it correctly. So it is one-time effort in my view, and it can definitely reduce a lot of maintenance effort which we used to do earlier with the Action 2003, 2000, or Action 5.5, with Action 2007 as well. It provides another copy of database. So just to count, we have another feature which allows you to make another copy just simply by adding one more server, and you have another copy to safeguard yourself. Less database copies with auto reseed feature. Less disks, less servers. So yeah, here I want to talk about the same example which I gave earlier, that my customer had 48 databases with 6 copies. So 288 copies of in total, and multiplied by 2 terabyte disk size. So it comes around 576 terabytes of space we were utilizing for this customer, spread across 12 servers. Of course, we have 48 databases. We have to spread into different servers. We cannot just keep everything on one server, two server. So if we think about the auto reseed feature, by using this auto reseed feature, we just need to avail one extra disk to all 12 servers, so that if any copy fails, it can replace the disk and reseed the database. So what I can recommend this customer to reduce 2 copies. So stay up to 4 copies and add an additional disk to only 12 servers. So in that way, 12 multiplied by 2 is 24, and what I'm reducing is 2 copies, which means 48 multiplied by 2 is 96, multiplied by 2 terabyte is 192. 192 terabyte I'm reducing out of and adding just 24 terabytes of disk. So on actual, the number comes around 168 or something. Yeah, so 168 terabyte of space I'm going to save if I use the auto reseed feature in the Exchange 2013, which is a good number, right? Less effort for system admins, of course. With these kind of features, if we implement everything like this, what are we discussing? Auto reseed and 3 data center DAG. Definitely, it's going to relax you. You have to configure it first time, and then later you don't have to worry much about it. So the production will be up. Everything is fine. If the hardware crashed, just need to call the hardware vendor, ask for the replacement of the hardware. So that's better. System admin will not be in the pressure. All right. Of course, no wake-up calls with this auto reseed feature. When I used to be the system admin, I used to get a lot of calls in the midnight. The server crashed, that server crashed, something happened, and I have to get up, start working. So maybe some of you have also faced the same thing. So with this kind of feature, database copy has started reseeding. That's what you can do in the night. Nothing more than that you can do. Maybe you can call the HP or Dell or any other vendor of the disk and log a call to replace the disk in the night. You do it after 8 hours, it's going to be same action. They will send the engineer next day only. So it's going to save your sleep. I'm sorry. No outage in case of disk failure, server failure, site failure, or internet outage. So when we talk about internet outage, it means when we are going to implement 3 data center across spread across the DAG. So if the DAG is spread across 3 data centers, then we can obviously make the use of the internet failure feature as well. If internet fails on the one data center, we can still be up. All right. So are you still using? Is there anybody who's using Exchange 2007? All right. How do you feel with Exchange 2007? Is it a lot of work, or it's easy to manage, or?
So just operated in some crucial
You're going to migrate to 2013?
Yes.
Right.
Actual level.
It's better than 2020.
Yeah.
We're using the 3 servers, one for the cache, the other for the WA, the other one for all kinds of mailboxes. And tell the truth, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean the reseeding or basically I would say the reseeding in 2007 is not that comfortable than 2013. So even 2010 was far better. So in today's world, I will still wonder that why anyone would like to stay with Exchange 2007, except the budget constraints or the downtime required or the effort required again to do the migration. I was working for I'm still with one of the biggest IT giant, and they are still migrating to Exchange 2010 because the capacity of this customer is 270,000 users. Definitely migrating this kind of a user base, which is spread across the globe, is tough. So for me to understand, okay, they took the decision and they are migrating to 2010. So yeah, if any organization which is on 2007, in my view, today they should either migrate to 2010 or 2013. I would say 2013 because that's the latest version available, and that will last your support cycle more than 2010. All right. So getting started with DAG, what we need to work with DAG is a very simple need. It's not a very hard and fast need. So we just need one domain controller which is a global catalog with minimum Windows 2003 Service Pack 2 or above. 2 Exchange 2013 servers. Ensure failover clustering is installed on these 2 mailbox servers. I'm saying this because if you don't do, it will install when you create the DAG, it will install the failover clustering. But sometimes I have seen that because of the little bit delay in updating the system, the DAG creation fails, and then you need to run the same command or try to recreate it. So it's recommended install it first and be on the safer side. Then N+1 disks. I would say we just need to add an extra disk to use the auto reseat feature. It has to be the same size, nothing more than that, and it depends on the setup, which kind of setup you would like to do. We have the option of 1 data center, 2 data center, and the 3 data center. Of course, if we have just 1 data center, if the server goes down or anything happens in that particular data center, we will not be able to do anything. But if only one server goes down in one data center, we are still good with one server. 2 data centers, again, it's like everything goes down, you can bring everything back in 3 to 4 hours on second data center. But if you go to 3 data centers, you don't need to do anything. 1 data center goes down, it will automatically fail over to second data center, and vice versa. So once it's back, you can either force or it can automatically move back. I mean, you can obviously force it to move it back to the production data center. Then minimum 1 non-mailbox mailbox role server for file share witness, which can be domain controller as well. So if you want to keep it on domain controller, well, it's not recommended but supported. So you can keep the file share witness. Maybe you can avoid the last requirement, but other requirements are still there. All right. Now we'll see the database availability group configuration steps. So we need to first we need to log into the file share witness server, add the Exchange trusted subsystem to the local administrators group. If you are using the domain controller, the issue will be that you have to add Exchange trusted subsystem group to Active Directory administrators. So many of the organizations, security and compliance team will object to do that. So that is why I said we need a member server, not the domain controller. The next step is, just wanted to ensure it's visible to everybody. I just wanted to ask the gentleman on the last, Are you all right? You need to are not able to get any find any share? Good. All right. Uh, so the next step is go to Exchange Admin Center, Servers, Database Availability Group, and just this action. Click on plus, configure the following values, and click on save. That's it. The DAG will be created. Then the next step is to add the servers at the point number 5. We have to add. We are adding the member servers. Then at the number 6 we can verify the file share witness folder has been created or not. It should be created at that point when you add 2 servers there. Then go to database tab and then add the database. So you have to add the database after creating the DAG, and then restart the information store service, because you will see a warning. You have to respect every warning which Microsoft gives and do the action. Restart information store service. Then there are 3 dots on the right side you will see, and then you can create the second copy using those 3 dots to second server. Then seeding should start by doing this. Once seeding completes, move the database to different server to see if you can do the failover. So we will see this in the next lab, which is going to start now.
Can I ask you a question to the database and also to your very large client? So in the example you gave us, you have one database per physical disk, right?
Yes.
And you lose one disk, you have this one extra disk for the Odyssey feature.
Yes.
Let's say you lose 2 disks, that is not automatic, that would then be manual.
Yes, I mean, it's really hard to see two disks crashing together.
No, I understand that, but so
yes, that's a fact.
One disk, and if not, you do have. I understand you have more servers, more data centers. Understood. How many users did you have per database and disk? Do you remember that?
Well, total number of users we had was 24,000. The problem was that customer was using litigation hold for all the users, so we were not deleting any mails, so nothing will be removed from the organization. So that was the concern. Because of that, everything was growing so much. But to answer your first question, is like now Microsoft supports, I think, 8 terabyte disk. So in place of 2 terabyte, you can go to 8 terabyte disk, keep 4 databases in one disk, and just place one disk. If that disk fails, it will do the reseeding for all 4 databases.
Sure.
Yeah, but now, yeah, I mean, still, if the constraint is that if 2 disk fails, will it do the reseeding? It cannot do it. It will just do the one for one.
That was one question. The second question was performance. Like if you have, I did implement 5,000 mailboxes per server once, and you do run into performance issues on the database.
Yes.
So, and when you say you have like 2 terabyte disks per database and lots of users, I understand 24,000 is very well distributed, and you have 12 servers.
Yes. So it was stored in different scenarios. You can, I mean, when you go to real world, the calculation says that one Exchange server can manage 5,000 users. But when you go to the real world, and if you have 100 users of 2 gigabytes of the profile or more, maybe 10 gigabytes as well, and then you cannot, you cannot follow the same guidelines of 5,000, because sometimes the connection will connect and try to load everything and you're going to occupy a lot of utilization. So it depends. We had whenever we saw the issues, when we saw the databases were piling up, we had to migrate at least 100 gigs out of one database, 200 gigs over the weekend. So that's how we reached to 48 databases. We started with 24. So yeah. But yeah, the answer to that, the if you get the performance issue, basically you have to analyze it before implementing a solution. So your planning and design has had something missing if you see the performance issue
No, I
after.
didn't. I was just curious. In
Oh,
that environment, I was talking about 5,000 users per. That's
yes, sir.
And what kind of disk subsystems are we talking about? We're talking about NAS, iSCSI, or DAGs, or
No, we prefer DAS. We prefer DAS, direct storage. But in today's world, Microsoft supports everything. Even JBoard will be supported.
and then generally for the database design, we're talking, is it shallow and deep or wide and shallow? As far as, remember the general disk design subsystems from like 2003, how we should design databases for the IOs? Is that
Yeah, the IOs are always important. There's an exchange calculator. You're supposed to run the exchange calculator to calculate the number of databases required and the disk space required. That calculator will also give you the IOPS required. So when you buy the disk, you have to ensure that total number of disk is giving you the same number of IOPS.
that?
I have the designing blog on my website. So if you like, you can just check the designing Exchange 2013 design and planning blog. That will help you. You can still ping me if you have any questions on my email ID. Any more questions? If not, we'll move on to the lab. All right. So in my lab, because it's a lab, I'm using this is the domain controller. Then I have DAGs server 1 and DAGs server 2. So this data center will be hosting my file share witness, and we'll see in a moment. So I come to this server, which is DAG 2. And right, I had created the DAG to test it, but I'll remove it so that we can create a new one. All right, there's no DAG here. It's very simple, but I think I had some steps mentioned, not here. Okay, so come to log into your ECP, Exchange Admin Center. Click on these servers on the left. Then click on these database availability groups in the middle. Click on this plus sign. I'm telling you with the GUI. Otherwise, from the Exchange shell, there's just a single line command. But this one you can remember very easily. So this is good to see. Tag 1. Witness server I have here is DCW 2013.2013lab.com. And even if you don't give the witness directory, it's supposed to pick up and create a default directory. So I wanna do this. I wanna try that. And then we have to give a cluster IP. This IP is a cluster IP. Like the old way, we used to give the cluster IP. It is similar configuration. and click on save, and we can see the DAG is created. But at this time we will not see the file share witness created. But this is the icon I was talking about, where we have to select the member servers. So I would prefer to add servers one by one. I'm adding first server on which I am right now, and it's going to install the DAG1 cluster. So this is, you can see it is forming the cluster. I already have the failover cluster installed on it, so it will not install that. Good thing is that it tells you that it's going to take 45 seconds. So we can go back to my lab and see the file share witness. So this time I did not create any file share witness, but Exchange created this folder. This was created at 7:05, the moment I added the server to DAG. But it is still empty until we get the second server. So the use of the file share witness is to let you know which server is the active server, which will allow you the failover. If you have just one server in the DAG, you can create a DAG with only one server. But if you just have one server, then you cannot do any failover. In that case, there will not be any file share witness file created in the file share witness directory. Though file share witness directory will be present, but there will be no file. So,
I never understood why they would say if it's an even number of servers, you have to have a witness server.
yeah, because this is a logic, even number and odd number. So when it's even number, one server goes off, or maybe I should say, give a better example. If it's 4 servers, okay, 4 server DAG, if one server goes off in an even number, and if one server needs a majority, that this server is supposed to be the active, have the primary active manager and activate the databases. In that case, this file share witness helps and make the count even, so that you can choose the active server. But if it is odd number, then it's already 2 or 1. So it's like, if it is 3, it's 2 and 1. It's always a majority. But if it's 4, it's not. So it adds that thing. All right. So we'll go here. Now we can see it's successfully completed. So the DAG has created successfully. Now we can see only one member. We will add the second member, and we will see the file share witness file created. Right. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to log into the second Exchange server. It can just do it from here. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. So what happened is, when I installed the server, I gave the different names. So just don't count the names. Yeah, and initially I was trying to install the DAG on my domain controller, but I got some issues there. Rather than fixing that, I prefer to install the Exchange server on the separate server. I said, let's follow Microsoft recommendation, not install on the domain controller. All right, so now we have both the servers. If we go back to the file share witness server, you can see now one more directory has come, which has a witness file. we cannot read it. It's a system file. Even if we can open this, you cannot see or read it. All right. So the DAG is created. Now we have to create a database. I'll come here and say DB1, and I select the server, DAG2. I will let it mount it or create it at the specified location and save it. So by checking the checkbox mount this database, it will automatically mount after creation. Otherwise, if you run the command, you have to create the database and then run another command to mount it. Right, it will take a little bit. All right, it's so fast. Please restart information store. It is important. So let me talk about this. This is very important, or I can say it is a very critical warning. In a way, if you think you are already in production and you needed to add another database, and you need to restart information store, you may not like to do it immediately. So if you are in production, do not create the database in the production time. Make sure you have the change approved in the weekend, and then only do this. Though we have the feature that we can move the databases to different Exchange server and do this way, that you can move active databases to different server, restart information store, move the active databases back. But that's an emergency situation. You wouldn't like to do that in a normal working environment. All right, so I will go and restart the information store. All right, now I will go and add the second copy. You can see I have selected the same database which is part of DAG, and I need to do refresh because I didn't refresh. It did not realize that information store has restarted. It is not giving me the option to create second copy. Now I did the refresh. If I click here, you can see the sudden change. I got another option to add database copy. I click on this, select the second server. We can see the more option. If we want to replay lag time, the lag time is that in some scenarios where you want to create a lag database which is not up to the mark, which is replicating and delaying the replication, delaying the update, so that like 1 month back, they want to keep the lag time for 1 month, so that if anything was deleted 1 month back, you can recover from this database. So that's kind of a logic can be implemented with this, but I don't see many of the organizations using it. So, but this is an option.
You said what, they changed like in 2013? I thought it was 14 days max. It's more, it's 14 days in 2013?
No, I'm not.
In 2010 it was 14. 14 days is the max.
No, that is the retention period.
No, with the
This is this is lag database and the lag time, but you can change. Anything is default, you can change.
beyond 14 days.
Yes. So let's create the second copy. You can see it's saying, it is telling you what it's doing, reading, writing, and what is remaining. By the way, I'm using the CU3 here, the cumulative update 3. We'll talk about some changes which are coming in SP1 later once we'll finish today's presentation. Alright, so second database has created. Now the main thing to look at is on the right side. If I refresh, the main thing to look at here is the passive healthy. The database is healthy, but the content indexing is not healthy. So if you click on activation here, you will not be able to activate the second copy. So you have to go to the shell and skip some checks to mount it if the database copy is not healthy. I will check from the shell the status of database copy. Got mailbox database copy status. This looks a funny command, but it works every time with the star \star. It shows all the databases status, which one is healthy, which one is mounted. I mean, the status healthy means it is a second copy. The content index on the extreme left side, on your right side, is the failed and healthy. On one of the server, it is failing the original database. You don't have the second copy. I'm not using this is a lab. I don't care about it. But if you have a production, you would like to fix that. But with the newly created database, it is failed right now because it's just created. It has not completed the indexing. Once it will complete the indexing, it will be fine. It will be coming healthy very soon. Not now, but I'm sure it will. So if we have to move the database to the different server, we have to run a command. We have to run the move active database command, active mailbox database command with the database db1 and server I will say fsw. So skip client experience check will not check the content indexing. If I skip this, it should idly move. But somehow I was facing the issue that in the command that it was not able to find the database name. It can be the cause because it has not got the Active Directory update yet. Maybe it's very fast I'm doing. So in the real-time environment, I will just not move it. I will wait for the health index health to come healthy and then move it. But I should see everything healthy in few moments. So before doing the second lab, we will definitely move this database to second DAG server. All right. So DAG creation lab ends here. We have created DAG. We have two databases. We are not able to move because of two issues. One in the Active Directory, I believe, and the second is the indexing, which is failing right now, but it will be good in a few minutes. Okay, let's move on and let's walk through some more slides, and then when we come back for second lab, we will see this should be healthy. Any questions from the lab? Anybody? Yes, sir.
Just one, with Exchange 2010, you had to create a DAG network. You didn't have to do that, is that?
not required?
Very nice question about the network, because it's very critical for your environment. I would say, okay, default is you don't have to create it. It will automatically manage and determine it. But whenever I do it, I create it. There's an option which I will show you, which can allow you to manually create the database, DAG network. Why I'm saying that we should create it, because we want to define which is my mapping network and which is my replication network. So yeah, we didn't talk about this, that we can have two networks. One will be the replication network, which will just replicate the databases, which will not connect any user accounts or user outlooks or OWA. So in that case, you can save a different bandwidth, different segmentation can be done on the network layer, and just for the replication, you can dedicate a network. But it depends. At many locations, it's not really workable solution, because it's a WAN link. You cannot define two WAN links, and a lot of confusions or things. But if you can do, it's the best thing. I have done in one of the small organization, but they had very small data center, so that you can just connect direct servers from one server to second server with single Ethernet cable. I connected, so that's the way. Did I answer your satisfactory?
Definitely, yeah.
All right.
Not required.
No, it's an important feature. Glad you asked. All right, just give me a minute. So we'll talk about the next. We'll talk about the auto reseed configuration steps. So auto reseed configuration steps starts with few configurations on the database availability group. So the first command is going to set up the database folder path, and the second command in the step 1 is going to set up the database volume path. So the first command is letting the exchange know what is the database path. In the sense, all the database are residing there, but in the second command, it is telling you where are all the volumes, which means we are using the volume mount point, not the drives for the databases, and it will map the same drives to two locations, and we will see in that in the lab. But the purpose of doing this is in the second command, when we are assigning the volume folder path, which means that we are giving an extra disk in this volume so that it can read that there's a spare disk available. So that's the logic. The point number 2 is configuring the number of databases in one volume. I'm selecting one right now. I don't have a requirement to test it with the multiple databases, but because it's the same thing, I can configure multiple databases. So we have to configure this feature, auto database copies per volume. So it's just one in this case, but we can go to 2, 3, 4 as per the volume allows you. One disk allows you, one disk volume allows you. I would recommend to keep one database to one volume rather than mixing it up. Then we are creating the directory structure in the third step. Then we are mounting the volumes in the fourth step. Then in the fifth step, we are creating the database structure. And in the sixth step, we are mounting the volume on the volume path level. So it's on the mount wall level, you can say. it doesn't end here. So in the next slide, we'll see the seventh step. So in the seventh step, we are verifying to see what path, which volume got which path and all. We'll see in the lab better. Then in the eighth step, the database directory structure, we created the database directory structure. So look at the database directory structure. The structure we are going to use is .db and .log folders. So it's totally different kind of a structure, which auto receive will read. Then we are creating the databases. Then we are mounting the databases, and then we are adding the second copy, which is important. Without second copy, how will it reseed automatically? So second copy is obviously important. Then in this 11th step, we are testing the automatic reseeding, auto reseed feature. We'll see. We'll run the auto reseed. After the lab, I will explain the workflow, and then we will see the previous auto receipts events. We'll see if we by the end of the slide today's session, if we get the new events. So in the last slide, we will see that if we get the events for the auto reseed. If not, we will see the previous events. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. It is auto reseed lab, and we are going to back to the lab. And let's see our status. Okay, so you can see the content indexing of both these copies is healthy. Just click on here, activate, click yes, and boom. It will move the database, and it has done. Awesome, very fast. Right, so you can see again the indexing failed because we moved, but it will automatically become healthy. Nothing to worry, we just did a move. Nothing to get panic right away. All right, so let's move on to the auto reseed steps. What I did is I could just copy the steps here to make it easier, so that I should not waste time in writing the commands. I have this Exchange cell open here. I'll just clean it up. And so first, as a first step, okay, let's see the current DAG status. Before running the DAG, let's see these attributes current status. What is configured there? Get database group status. Sorry. So there. So by default, you can see by default the database root folder path is this, and the volume root path is this. So it's by default configured, and the path is given. Then the other configuration we are going to do is this attribute, which is already marked to 1 by default. Remember, we just created the DAG on this server, so it's not old. We have not done any changes here. So we will run these commands, and we'll see what changes there. Obviously, this path will change. So I'm running these commands. Oops, sorry. Copy and paste. Okay, So what I did wrong is the DAG name. So DAG name is supposed to be DAG1. This command will work, and this command failed. So I will run again after changing the name. All right. So now if we see, you can see the path has changed. Here. All right. Now the next command. That's wrong. Okay, I did something wrong. Okay, so we are just running this command, but by default it is same. So we did not change anything in the DAG configuration by running this command. But this is part of step. So because you might have a different configuration, you might have two databases in one volume. So you have to make it count. Then we are creating the directories. Exchange shell can do some of the command prompt features. So it can do the creation of the folders. So third step is done. Third step is supposed to be done on both the servers so that we have the same structure. So I don't need to go to the shell. I can create here in the command prompt. All right. So now the fourth step is mounting the volumes. So I have attached some disks here. I can show you is the disk 1 here. I have in this server only one, and in this server I have 3 storages which are attached. I have to change the path or I would like to show what I have done here. Okay. So normally when you will attach a disk, it will be in the offline mode. You will initialize. So first thing you will do is bring the disk online. Once it will be online, you will make a partition here with a simple partition. Well, it did not do anything, so I cannot do. Then on the formatting side, I prefer NTFS and 64K. This is the recommended configuration to use the 64K unit size for Exchange. So I would prefer to do the formatting with this configuration. Then what we have to do is assign the drive letter and the volume. So I will create mount in the following empty NTFS folder. I will select F, and then I come here and I create a new folder saying vol1. Click OK. OK. For disk 2, I will do the same. I will assign the second folder. Vol2. And for the third disk, we'll assign vol3. Sorry. So this is 3 disks have been assigned to the volume mount point. Now the step 4. So this is this step. Step 4 is done. Now the step 5. Create 2 database folders. Well, I'm creating 2, but I will only create 1 database, though I'm creating the structure for 2. Because I have not attached 2 disks here, so we'll be testing with 1 disks. But in the real world, if you just have 1 database, it can do the work, but you might like to use it for multiple databases where you are saving some disks. Okay, so the database structure is created. Now, this step number 6 is a critical step. You have to, I mean, nothing much to worry, but this is a little bit tricky to see. So I run this command, mount wall. How many of you are aware about this mount wall command? Anyone? No. Okay, so this is the command that shows what volume is mounted with which directory. So you can see the three volumes are here. Now we have to map this volume with the database path. So what we will do is we will map volume 1 and volume 2, and we will leave volume 3 as a spare disk so that 3 can do the auto reseeding. So okay, the format is very simple. But one thing to remember is when you do the mount, when you use the mount wall to verify, which means the read-only mode, you can use the exchange management shell. But if you have to mount a volume, you have to use the command prompt. It will not mount. It will give an error. So you come here, give the path. Now I have to select this volume. I will select this volume and assign here, and similar step for database 2. Now if you see, you can see the difference. So now we have 2 volumes mounted, 2 basically folder path mounted with 1 volume. And I have to do the same step here. So sorry. Mount wall. Sorry. Well, I have to create wall 1 here as well. So let's create the folder volume 1. Okay, so volume 1 is coming to here, which has no mount point. So I'm going to use this. And you can see it's here. So mount points have been done, which was the critical thing. Now it's very simple to create the structure and create the database and mount it. This is what I'm going to do. Step 7. Again, a little bit of structure. Okay, it already exists. It already exists. Okay. Not sure. It has something. Oh. Okay. So what it did is it picked up the old database. I was supposed to remove it. Though it's I mean, I can just remove the structure and we'll recreate. Okay, here it was not, so it's doing now. Now we'll create the database. So I will create the database on yeah, DAG 2. You can see the way I have given the log folder path and EDB folder EDB file path. That's important. So this has created the database. Again, like earlier, it has asked for the information store restart. We will give information store restart. Okay, so step 10 is mount the database. Check information store has restarted. Now I'm going to mount this database. Okay, we'll see. It will be mounted in few. And once it will be mounted, we will create the second database and create the second information, restart the information store. Alright. Okay, so add database copy, database name, mailbox server name. So now you can see it is doing the reseeding, and it will finish in a while. Meanwhile, let's check what's going on in the GUI. In the GUI, you can see new database has been created, mounted. Copy has been created, healthy. Okay, so now I will have to go to this second server and restart the information store. Sorry, wrong place to click. So if you have seen the change in CU3, it gives you another option to open Exchange Admin Center, which is just a URL, but it adds the version. So if you click on it, you will see it is opening the Exchange client version 15, which means this is Exchange 2013. In an environment where you have Exchange 2010 and 2013, if you just say localhost/ECP, it might open Exchange 2010 ECP. So to avoid that, this is the URL. So we come here to restart information store, which is here. Alright, so the configuration part is done. I have configured it. I would like to uh, move. I would like to move the active database to the different server, which just have one disk, which is the active server, and I would like to test with the passive copy, which has multiple disks available. So I would like to see the content indexing healthy so that I can move it, which is going to take a little bit of time. And the passive maybe still starting. Okay. Go back to the Exchange shell and run the command to check the database's health. So it is showing fail, but I'm sure it will mount it. And if you can see healthy. By the way, if you see the DB1 which created in the previous lab is healthy on both the side. You can see the content indexing is also healthy, and DB1 which DB001 which we have just created is in the content indexing failed state. I would prefer if it can become healthy right away, so that we can initiate the auto reseed feature to start mounting, and by the time we'll finish few slides it might start doing something. Alright. And let's try if skipping, if the command would work. No. Okay, so some of the command is not working. We'll come back to the lab in a few minutes, so that we can see the database is healthy, and we'll initiate the reseed. Alright, so let's go back to the lab, slide. By the way, if you guys are tired, you need a break, let me know. We can take a short 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes? Okay. Okay.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Why are you using Jean-Claude? Yeah. Why are you using Exchange 2010, which was actually implemented by our head office? We migrated from 2007 to 2010. That has been done. We have some PST because in 2007 people were archiving their email into PST, and so we wanted to bring that. They say that in 2010 you can have archiving inside 2010.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Any suggested recommendation in terms of best way? Because now we have a lot of PST and.
Oh, you want to put it in the archiving database?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. There are multiple different ways to do that, because you can create a different database and assign it as assign second mailbox as archiving mailbox to the same user, and migrate the PSTs inside. So, what is your concern?
So the user will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand the concept because I'm going to talk to them tomorrow, so I want to make sure that I'm.
So this way you can do the archiving of the user's mailbox. And the second point, I think you wanted to know how to bring in the PST for so many users.
Yeah.
So you can use the Exchange shell.
Okay.
Exchange shell command can migrate the PSTs inside to the mailbox, to the assigned particular folder.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That you can do.
And then you can use it. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can use the archive mailbox of that user.
Yeah.
using the commandlet.
So let me ask, okay, so the user will have, so I guess each user when they open the mailbox, they will send at the mailbox, that's how,
They will be able to access both the mailboxes.
or both Exchange will take care of that?
Yes.
Or, I mean, when.
Yeah, it will be mapped as an archive mailbox for that particular user.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a solution that you have seen going on. So it's
Yeah,
not,
that's very nice solution. But the archiving database, maybe you want to keep in your data center, or you can keep on the second data center, which is
okay.
kind of a
Oh,
failover site,
okay.
or people use different software, Semantic Vault or Bloomberg Vault, for keeping the archiving online, or different system.
Okay, so,
So
yeah, I think they didn't want to.
a lot of feature, a lot of varieties
yeah,
available.
Yeah.
It's all about your budget, money.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so I get. Okay, so cool. I wanted to have an idea. Is that you? Isn't it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, very good.
I will have to check with Ben how we can. I don't mind sharing it.
Yeah, this would be good actually. It's very nice. Okay,
All right.
Yeah, I think we got
That's
a
what
lot
we
of
can practice.
steps to seek out. Interesting.
Yeah, I have my blogs already posted, so I will definitely share the slides, but the blogs are already there.
And next
So
session,
yes.
okay.
So
Oh, okay, so
so these steps are already on the blog, which is good. You are anywhere in this world. You don't need to copy the slide. Carry the slide. Just log into the website and just browse it. Where are the steps? So I have to just keep it online.
Last meeting's slide, it's about the cloud versus on-premise costs.
Yeah,
Do you know where to
Steve,
Yes.
how to get the last session's slide?
What's that?
Last meeting's slide?
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
Comparison between the on-premise and
Oh, yeah, those are on the website.
on the website?
The New York Exchange is nyexg.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you
By chance, is it also on your website?
Yeah, this is my website, but it will be available in his website.
Yeah, he's,
I don't share.
When he's done with the presentation, are you gonna share with me all those commands?
Yeah.
All the PowerShell commands? Okay, so he'll share all the commands, we'll post them to the website.
Okay.
I can share the slide if you
Yeah, even on the slide, and then we'll.
you want the slide.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Actually,
fine.
yes, actually, the commands are actually quite familiar. It's SK.
So I hope everyone is back. But okay. Meanwhile, I can just check if everybody's not back in the lab. Okay, cool. Everything is healthy. So, sorry, how many people are still not here, or everybody here? Still? We're good? We're good? Okay, so everything's healthy. I'm moving the database to the second server. And then we will initiate the disk failure. Alright, so database has moved. Okay, this is mounted, this is passive healthy. I will go here in the disk management. This is just for the lab, but in the real world, what will happen is the disk will be disabled from here. It will not show up. So so the storage one is my disk, which has the database. You can see the size is a little lower than other disks. It's 9.60 free space. So the most important thing is you have to take it offline if you're testing in your lab, rather than coming here and deleting the partition or deleting the volume. You don't have to delete the volume. It will not understand, the Exchange will not understand that disk has gone offline by deleting this volume. But if you take the disk offline, it will understand that disk has gone away it is not reachable. So I have taken the disk offline. The disk is offline. Now my database will be in the failed state, failed and suspended state. You can see the third one, and this is an issue, and Exchange will automatically pick up the new disk and reseed it. We'll see in a moment, after a few slides maybe. Meanwhile, this is the location where you will see the seeding events. So if you go to event viewer, you have to come to this location to see the seeding events, and we will see what happens in few minutes. Just wanted to see if it has logged any event here yet.
May I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What happened to users connected right now to this database with the failed disk?
So what we did is we did the failover. We failed the disk on a passive copy. So in this case, nothing will happen to the user because user are connected to active. The Exchange DAG will come into the play, and it will fail over and mount the second copy as an active node. And will
That's below 60 seconds, right? It's like very fast.
yes, it's supposedly very fast, but in different environments it takes a little bit of time. But users don't really feel that difference. That's what I've seen.
Will the user feel that if they're using online mode as opposed to cache mode?
Yes, I mean, this is a big difference now, coming from Exchange 2003, 2007. Now 2010 and 2013 is more preferred way is the cache mode.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, will they see the hiccup if they are in online mode as opposed to cache mode?
If they are in the online mode, yes, it will immediately show a disconnect. But you never know, you are not always online you are watching the Outlook, You might be on the different page, you are logged into this different server, or
But most of the time, I don't know how long this connection will be, but you will get your servers offline. Not problem, but you will see it if you're online.
yes, I mean, if you are using Outlook at the same time, you might see that there's a disconnect happen and then it got reconnected.
Because there are some environments where the user environment is online. Not many, but there are some.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a recommended way because
No, I understand. But
that consumes a lot of bandwidth. All right, so any question about this lab? Good. Okay, we'll go back to the slides and talk more about the auto reseed workflow, which is very interesting. I just kept it for this moment so that I can get some time for the reseed failure to execute. All right, so auto reseed workflow. This is very interesting, and it's not just a single workflow. It does a lot of things. So at the first step, it detects a copy in failed and suspended state for 15 minutes. So the first 15 minutes, it might not do anything, and it is just going to observe it for 15 minutes that if the copy remains in the same state, which makes sense because sometimes you have done some maintenance and you don't want it to execute the auto reseed and look for the drive. So okay, 15 minutes is fine. At the second step, Exchange tries to resume copy 3 times with a gap of 5 minutes. So after 15 minutes, 3 times Exchange will try to resume the copy automatically. It will try to resume the second copy. But when all 3 attempts fail, it moves to third step. So another 15 minutes, it will not do anything with the failed disk. Third step is Exchange tries to assign a spare volume for 5 times with a gap of 1 hour. So in our case, it should get just after 30 minutes, it should get the disk and it should start the reseeding. But normally it will try it for 5 hours, it will wait. So 5.5 hours, it will continue trying to assign the disk. Then in the fourth step, Exchange tries in place seed with safe deleted with the safe delete existing files 5 times with a gap of 1 hour. This will only execute if the step 3 will work anytime, because if it will not work, then how it will, if the disk is not there, how will it will try to reseed. Then the fifth step is once all retries are completed with no success, then workflow stops with success or with no success. Sorry, at the fifth step, if either it's a success or no success, at the fifth step it stops, and at the sixth step is after 3 days. In case of no success, Exchange will wait for 3 days and see if copies is still in failed and suspended state, then it starts the workflow from step 1. So this workflow is never stopping, but within first 5 hours, if you provide the spare disk, it will still do the reseeding automatically. So this is a very interesting workflow. Otherwise, it will try again after 3 days. Any question here? I hope it's interesting. All right, so next slide. Automated database availability group. So here I'm going to talk about the 3 data center spread DAG. So which is going to take care of the database availability group and mount it automatically, and you will not see any failure in services. Everything will work as it is working, even if Sandy comes or any server crashes. So the minimum requirement is, I have mentioned the minimum requirement, which is a minimum requirement, but normally it's not realistic. You will at least keep 2 Exchange servers per data center. So the minimum requirement is 2 Exchange servers on the internet facing side. Both the sites will be internet facing. Then 1 file share witness in non-internet facing site, which can be the third data center. But even in the third data center, you need domain controllers. This domain controller. So this server is supposed to be the part of the domain so that it can add the permissions. So it can be the domain controller on the third data center. So the first requirement is 3 data centers, 2 Exchange servers, and 1 file share witness. Then the second requirement is a load balancer. If you have multiple Exchange servers, you might like to have a load balancer so that you can load balance 1 in each data center. Then the third requirement is 2 host records for all the services. So mostly we with Exchange 2013 we configure only one host record, only one host record for the services and one for auto discover. So one can be mail.domain.com, which will do the functionality for ActiveSync, IMAP, Outlook Anywhere, OWA, POP, EWS. For auto discover, we keep the host record autodiscover.domain.com. So what I'm saying is we will have to have 2 host records, one for one Exchange server data center, second for second Exchange data center. Then 2 MX records pointing to SMTP NLB for one data center, second for second data center. There's no harm in any in any event. We can definitely receive the email via second data center or the first data center. So the records I have created below, and then it's a 4 Exchange Server 2013 with community update 2, version 2 for each data center. Yeah, I mean, when you install, like I said, in the real time, I said is we will have total 2 Exchange servers per data center, and the realistic is minimum use cumulative update 2. So that concludes 2 plus 2 4 data center 4 Exchange servers, and the minimum update you have to use the cumulative update 2, which has better features, improved features, I would say. And one member or domain controller server in 3 data center for file share witness. It doesn't look very too much. It's very easy setup. It looks when you think about it initially, it looks different, but when you configure it and think about the requirement, it looks very easy, and you can easily achieve this. Any question on this? All right. This is next slide is talking about high availability and disaster recovery in DAG. So there's a there are 2 different terms called high availability and disaster recovery. So high availability means when you are keeping everything up even if the server goes down, and the disaster recovery when you kept everything high available but they did not come and you have to do a disaster recovery. So the high availability is a configuration which you configure it in the high availability mode, and everything moves on without any intervention, is the high availability. That's a similar, very close concept configuration, but the disaster recovery is a recovery step which is not realistic. So let me talk about more on the disaster recovery, which will make us understand what is high availability. So with the 3 data center, we made the things high available, and even if the data center crashes, we don't have to execute the disaster recovery. Everything will be mounted as a high availability scenario and configuration. But in the disaster recovery scenario, if we talk about 2 data centers, right? In 2 data centers, one data center, the production data center, completely crashed because of Sandy. There was no power, generators did not work. So now we have to mount everything on the data center 2. So what is the issue here is the file share witness has also gone down. So in that case, we have to execute the disaster recovery steps, which will be removing the production data center Exchange servers from the production. So we will be only left with the disaster recovery data center servers in that kind of a scenario. That's the disaster recovery. So in a big picture, if the cluster was made for 6 DAG cluster nodes, it will remain with only 2 DAG cluster nodes of the DR site, and it will be working on the DR site configuration, like the alternate file share witness will be used in that case. All right. So this makes it clear that this is a disaster where you have modified your Exchange DAG or Exchange system configuration, and the other thing is the high availability, where you don't modify anything and just utilize the services. All right, let's check back the auto receipt configuration. So when we go back to the lab, let me refresh, because it's around 8. The last event is showing 540. All right, so 8:05, we got this event saying automatic receipt manager is starting repairing workflow, failed suspended copy receipt for review 001. Workflow launch reason, this database encountered an error during log replay. The system cannot find the path specified. It has just started, it has recognized, it did not do anything. So it is still doing it. So it is saying the beginning attempt number 1 to execute resume for database copy. So remember I said 3 times it will try. So it will try 3 times, and then it will execute the failover steps. The good thing is I tested this before in this lab because every time I build a new lab it might not work because of XYZ reasons, so I prefer to test it before every session. So we can walk through the old events and see what had happened. So in this event, this is the event where it started repairing. Okay, so this is the attempt number 1 when it tried to resume the copy. This is the attempt number 2. So you can see the timing, 3:25 here. Looks like it took more than 5 minutes. Yeah, it took 15 minutes here to execute the second step. It's supposed to take 5 minutes. And the third attempt it did after 20 more minutes. So overall it took 35 minutes to execute 3 steps to try to resume the copy. And it tried. Okay, this completed the repair workflow. It could not repair it. Again, it's starting to repair the database. It has not replaced the disk yet. It's still trying. So okay, now this is the first. This is where it is assigning the spare disk. So automatic receipt manager is beginning attempt number 1 of executing stage assign spare for database copy db1. So this is where it is assigning the disk, and it should have done the reseeding after this. So you can see successfully assigned the spare disk, and it is telling you which disk it had assigned. This event is keep on coming. This is a separate event which is coming, which is not linked with that process, but this is telling that the replication is not working or repair is not working. But here in this attempt, after getting the disk, I think here. Okay. So we saw the disk was placed, and it tried to attempt a reseed. It is still trying to repair. Again, got some issues. Okay, at this place it started reseeding. So somewhere around 3 or 10 we got the issue. In 2.5 hours it detected and started reseeding. So in other way, if it crashes in the night when you are resting or you are away, in 2 hours, sometimes you take time to reach office or connect to your home, more than 2 hours, it started reseeding by that time already. So this is the previous events I could have shared, and you will see the same in the real-time environment as well. So this, at the moment the reseeding completed, it automatically mounted the database as healthy, and reseeding operation completed there. So at this moment, I just have only 3 events to show with the current failover which we did. So we used the previous attempts. I hope these events were useful to see. Let's go back to the slide deck and see what we are left with. Okay. Any questions with the
Can you
events?
pause the receipt if you know that the hardware is bad?
Yeah, I mean you can do the reseed, but we are checking here with the automatic reseed feature. Obviously, we can enable a manual reseed. All right. So summary. So
I think this is really interesting is that if you're in a small environment, you can go to that receipt. If you're in a large environment, let's say this happens in 2 or 3 different places, you have this in place, it saves you from having to address this manually. You just have to now get the vendor call and say, visit driver needs to be replaced and replace it. So I think that's where you're not really looking at one location, but in the situation where you have the global area, if you have things going on, you reduce the amount of resources having to go out and address these things right away.
yes, yeah. That the logic behind this is the auto reseeding. You don't have to do any step manually, which you can do if you have time. But if it happens in the odd time, it will do automatically. That's the first logic. Second logic is you don't your worry is away. I mean, you are not worried now because earlier you were worried. You created 6 copies of databases. Now you can reduce 2 copies and use this feature. Of course, in a big environment, if it is a small environment, you might not have created 6 copies. You might have just created 2 copies. And I have seen, I mean, many of my customers have 2 copies, but many of them have 6, 10. I mean, sorry, 6, no more than 6. So yeah, I agree. At in a bigger scale, if you see, it's a useful feature for an organization which has many databases. But it's like a good feature. Keep one disk available. If you just have 2 servers, then you may, if you want to do manually, just one disk in a small environment will suffice, and you can do manual reseed. That obviously makes sense. But this is kind of automation we're looking here is how can we avoid the manual effort and look for the automation for tomorrow, because we are going to grow. It's not now small companies are going to Office 365, most of them, because the maintenance cost of their server and system admin, everything is higher than the Office 365 or Gmail cost. So what we are left with the big organizations who their cost of going to Office 365 will be way high. So that's the way everything is moving on. And in Office 365, how Microsoft will manage so much of configuration is this way. So they will have so many data centers. They will be using They are using auto reseed feature. If anything fails, they get an alert, and the different team comes and replaces the disk. That's how they're good. Anyways, any other question? Very good. All right.
Change the timer of the receipt if you don't want to wait 15, you want to shorten it?
No, this is the default. This is the default exchange configuration, so we cannot do right now. But maybe in future. As of now, no. Okay, so today's summary: benefits of Exchange. We saw the benefits of Exchange 2013. We saw the DAG configuration steps and lab. We saw the high availability and database availability in the high availability in the database availability group with 3 data centers. And we understood basically. We saw the auto reseed steps. We saw the we saw the auto reseed events. And this is more about me. It's my email ID. It's my blog website. We are available on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I manage 2 LinkedIn groups: Microsoft Exchange Server and Microsoft Exchange Server 2013. So if you're not part of it, you are most welcome to join, and you can share your issues, or if you have, if you learn something new you want to share with the community, you're most welcome to join and share. All right, so this is, and a couple of blogs I have to share, which are with the slide. Which first thing is how to create the DAG, and second is about the auto receipt, how to create the auto receipt. And thank you everyone for joining for today. Just one thing I want to show you is what we are. So this is Microsoft Exchange Teams blogs, Exchange Team blogs website, and Microsoft has given us a space here, MS Exchange Group blog. So we are located in Microsoft Teams blogs website on the side corner, but we exist. So, and we love to see the green environment. So my website is a little bit green. So this is my website. All right, thank you again for joining for the session. I hope it helped you learn something.